Hello, and welcome to this 100-level AWS Online Tech Talk. My name is Rahul Gupta, and I'm a Principal Technical Product Manager with the Amazon Web Services and User Computing Group. In today's talk, we will look at why contact center customers are choosing AWS EUC services such as Amazon WorkSpaces and Amazon AppStream to accelerate their digital transformation. We have 4 key learning objectives for this talk. We will begin by looking at key business challenges faced by contact center customers today. Next, we will introduce Amazon WorkSpaces and AppStream services, and subsequently dive deeper into how these services can help address some of the most urgent and important needs of contact center customers. We will also see and hear about several real-world examples of customers who have deployed AWS EUC services to transform their contact centers, and thereafter wrap up with some next steps and resources on how you can continue your learning and discovery journey with EUC services. With that, let's jump right in. As AWS, we have been doing end-user computing for over 7+ years now, and as we have talked with many contact center customers during our journey, we have come to appreciate the breadth and wide variety of critical needs that contact centers serve for their end customers. These use cases could range from carrying out traditional sales and marketing functions to taking care of customers when they encounter questions or issues. We recognize that your customers are diverse, and so it's important to make sure that your contact center can successfully serve the heterogeneous needs of different personas and also be able to reward your most loyal customers. In addition, we see contact centers as enablers of key business processes, whether it's media or product engagement, support for critical back office functions such as IT, HR, or accounts payable, or even supporting franchisees if you have a distributed model. The key takeaway here is that given the nature of the use cases they address, contact center customers tell us they frequently find themselves at the front lines of how customers experience their brand or even their companies altogether. And thus, contact centers are a quintessential part of driving overall customer satisfaction. Because the contact center in many instances is the face of the organization for multiple customers and personas, the stakes are quite high when it comes to service delivery, especially when you consider that your contact center can be the first or even the most urgent touch point for your customers, or may even be the primary means of providing white glove service to your most valuable customers. Customers also tell us that as their end customers are global and always on, they too need to be reliably up and running 24/7 worldwide to meet their expectations, while also staying nimble enough to respond to upticks or downticks in customer traffic volumes due to seasonality and other drivers. Contact centers are increasingly leaning on data at an unprecedented scale to tailor and personalize their service to end customers. And they tell us that it's critical to get these data and insights into the hands of their agents so that their agents can be effective and productive in serving their customers. At the same time, it's job one to make sure that the security and integrity of this data is not compromised in any manner. So, given the vital strategic role contact centers play within their organizations and the visibility they get being frontline assets, this poses some unique challenges that contact center customers must navigate. For instance, as contact centers are serving global customers 24/7 with a high service quality bar, it's imperative that the infrastructure they use to support their agents be highly available. This means not only being resilient and having a high uptime that they can bank on, but also making sure that the infrastructure is geographically located closest to their agents for lowest possible access latency to data and apps they need. As traffic patterns and call volumes can be highly variable and seasonal, contact center customers tell us that agility is foundational to their success so that they can dynamically scale their operations up or down in real time to match customer demand and meet their SLA commitments. As the pandemic has forced many of us and our customers to work from home, agility also means being able to support different kinds of working models, whether it's a centralized or decentralized, or whether the agents are working from home, in office, or somewhere in between. Speaking of agents, agent productivity is also top of mind, and customers repeatedly tell us that they want to make sure their agents are fully empowered to serve their end customers, irrespective of how these customers are engaging, whether it's through chat, email, social media, or even a live phone call. It is important to customers that their agents have the right end-user computing environment and specifically access to the right data and apps they need so that they can be productive from anywhere, on any device, and really on any network. Another consideration is employee satisfaction, which is not only key to happier customers, but is also directly tied to turnover and bottom line. With the proliferation of data and its growing use inside the contact center for serving customers, the heightened need for security and compliance has never been more pressing for customers to deal with. On the one hand, customers want their agents to have the data readily available at their fingertips to quickly serve customers. At the same time, customers need to make sure they're able to secure this data and other intellectual property from exfiltration or leakage. This could be because of an accident, say the employee accidentally misplaced their laptop, which gets into the wrong hands, or this could be because of malicious intent, where the employee's endpoint device gets compromised by malware, for example. Customers are also looking to make sure they're protecting the privacy of their end customers, both as a best practice and also in compliance of residency regulations. More generally, they're also looking to comply with requirements such as HIPAA, GDPR, just to name a few, that can really vary depending on the industry, vertical, or even where they're doing business. Finally, we hear cost optimization as a recurring challenge that contact center customers contend with. Customers are not only thinking about reducing the IT infrastructure costs of the solutions they're deploying, but they're thinking more broadly about the cost of training personnel to administer and manage those offerings, operational load of support, cost of procuring and shipping hardware, all of which can quickly add up. Given the bursty nature of demand, customers also struggle to optimize their costs because many of them are overpaying for infrastructure to handle their peak load, which means infrastructure is typically idling or is underutilized at other times, tying up costly resources and capital that could be deployed elsewhere. So what customers really want is the ability to pay for only what they need. Another consideration is ease of licensing, which can impact cost. Customers tell us that they really don't appreciate or want complex licensing terms, and that they want to avoid artificial commitments or minimums, as these can not only drive up their total cost, but also impede agility. With this background, we'll now hear directly from two customers, Maximus and Johnson & Johnson, on these and other challenges they've faced, and also get a sneak preview into how AWS end-user computing solutions are helping them tackle challenges within and beyond the contact center. Here are Maximus and Johnson & Johnson in their own words.
Maximus is a company that is largely all about connecting citizens either at the state level or at the national level with a variety of health and human services. As you might imagine, as COVID has caused disruption across the country, a lot of our customers themselves are overwhelmed just trying to provide information, contact tracing, and resources that these folks need. And we were put in a position where we had to very quickly turn what were fixed call center facilities into completely virtual call center facilities. And that's where Amazon WorkSpaces came in. We were able to very quickly work with Amazon to take that session from our cloud-based telephony, embed it into an Amazon workspace, and extend it out to at least 24,000 employees.
So J&J's mission is to deliver transformative healthcare solutions that improve the lives of our patients and customers around the world. The impact that COVID has had on our workforce is probably very similar to what has occurred with most companies. Remote work became the new norm. 3 out of 4 people that were traditionally at the office became remote workers fairly overnight. With WorkSpaces, we're able to get people up within hours of them being onboarded, or if they have a physical issue with their PC, we are able to give them a virtual desktop in a couple of hours. So it's really a continuation, and in some of our core business areas where we've got vaccine preparedness activities going on. When it comes to remote work, there's no more secure remote access model than virtualization. So when we look at the security context of it, we prefer folks to be on a virtual desktop or a virtual app within AppStream.
One of the things that we're realizing now is that our options are quite a bit wider than we thought they were. Incorporating Amazon WorkSpaces gives us quite a bit of flexibility to really look at teams by task and figure out which ones of them are frankly capable of working from home indefinitely. And that's a big plus both from a cost savings perspective, but also from an employee engagement and employee satisfaction perspective.
We have a commitment to our patients and customers to continue delivering innovation, and we can't have an impact what COVID-19 translated to in terms of everyone working remotely affect our ability to perform our critical jobs. And so our strategy and everything that we do is to continue to enable that critical work to happen uninterrupted.
Now, let's switch gears and talk a little bit about AWS end-user computing, the benefits it offers, and then deep dive into how AWS EUC addresses the biggest challenges contact center customers are facing with their digital transformation. At its heart, EUC represents our portfolio of cloud-native, fully managed virtual desktop and application streaming services comprising of WorkSpaces and AppStream. Amazon WorkSpaces is focused on persistent, stateful desktops that are targeted at named users, while AppStream caters to non-persistent desktop and application use cases that typically accompany concurrent user workloads. With both services, we abstract the complexity of managing VDI infrastructure and do the undifferentiated heavy lifting of building, maintaining, scaling, managing, and operating the services so that our customers can focus more on activities that directly help create business value for them. As you heard, while there are several benefits that customers such as Maximus, Johnson & Johnson, and others are deriving from WorkSpaces and AppStreams, here are the 4 benefits we consistently hear from customers. First is high availability. As it turns out, running VDI on-prem is hard. For those of you who may have ever tried to deploy VDI on your own, depending on your choice of implementation, you could be managing anything and everything from server hosts, storage and control plane administration, to things like load balancers and hypervisor administration, and in some cases, even managing the physical rack and stack and power. When I talk to customers about uptime for on-prem systems they have built over the years and their struggles to provide deterministic SLAs, they especially come to appreciate the fact that EUC services come with a built-in 99.9% uptime SLA and are available in over 14 global AWS regions and counting. Second, we help customers be more agile. Organizations today, such as yours, need the ability to scale up and scale back access at a moment's notice. Our services allow you to roll out Windows and Linux desktops and apps anywhere in the world in minutes, not days. And you can unroll them just as quickly with a few clicks or API calls. Third, and a very, very important consideration for our customers is security and compliance. At AWS, everything we do starts with security. And the AWS Cloud and our EUC services are built for the needs of our most security-focused customers. With WorkSpaces and AppStream, the fundamental premise of not having sensitive customer and corporate data stored on the end user's device resonates strongly with a lot of our customers. Finally, these services also help you optimize costs. Because we run in the cloud at scale, we can keep our infrastructure costs low, which directly benefits you through lower prices. We have a range of compute instances and bundles that help you find the right level of performance for your users at the right price. We also innovate on your behalf and have added multiple cost-saving optimizations directly within the services over the years, including purpose-built cost optimization tools that work hard to save you even more money. And of course, we offer pay-as-you-go economics, so you only pay for what you use, don't pay for what you don't use, and can get on with your business confidently. Now, let's deep dive into each of the specific challenges faced by contact center customers, beginning with availability. The 24/7 follow-the-sun nature of several contact center operations and the need for reliable global infrastructure in different geographies and across different languages is raising the bar on what customers expect in terms of solution availability. I already mentioned that our services are available in 14 regions and are backed with a 99.9% uptime SLA. But I want to talk a little bit more about the how. From the ground up, each AWS region is made up of multiple availability zones, where each availability zone, or AZ, in turn, is a cluster of logically grouped data centers that are architecturally designed for maximum resiliency against system disruption. For this reason, even if a rare disruption occurs, traffic can be load balanced to remaining sites with minimal customer impact, and this already sets a high bar for availability of our infrastructure. At the same time, we recognize customers want more. And for those customers who want to achieve even higher levels of resiliency, we natively support the ability to do cross-region redirection, where end users can be seamlessly routed to a disaster recovery region in the extremely rare event when their primary AWS region becomes unreachable due to an event, for example. Not surprisingly, availability and resiliency were amongst the top considerations for our customer Enova International, who is a provider of online financial services to non-prime consumers and small businesses. Enova deployed Amazon WorkSpaces to 600 contact center workers in just a 1 week's time during COVID-19, and their leadership credits AWS End User Computing for their company's resiliency and business continuity during a very challenging transition period. Next, let's focus on agility. Given the inherently variable and sometimes unpredictable nature of traffic patterns and demand, customers repeatedly tell us that their contact center solutions need to be agile to ensure service delivery SLAs. EUC solutions help you become more agile in a number of different ways. First, through extensive API support, customers can easily build user lifecycle management workflows that cover everything from employee onboarding to offboarding. These workflows can be programmatically triggered with little to no IT intervention from existing business processes, for example, via ITSM tools such as ServiceNow, which you've seen multiple customers take advantage of. Secondly, we make it very easy for you to spin up or tear down instances within your fleet with just a few clicks in the console or with a few lines of code. And we've seen customers such as MRS BPO, who is a leading provider of accounts receivable and back office solutions, migrate 95% of their call center staff to WorkSpaces in a span of days, not months, when the pandemic began. We also support policy-based auto-scaling for variable workloads so that you can let AWS make decisions about scaling in or scaling out your fleets on demand within the guardrails and parameters you define without worrying about demand patterns or consumption spikes. In fact, we have customers such as GE Renewable Energy forego VDI infrastructure management and switch to on-demand scaling of their fleets with Amazon AppStream. Another aspect of EUC that makes these solutions extremely agile is the fact that it lets organizations get away from the business of procuring, managing, or even distributing endpoints to their employees. And it allows them to switch to a BYOD model, as these virtualized apps and desktops can be accessed on just about any device. It could be a PC, a Mac, Chromebooks, iPads, Android and Kindle Fire tablets, thin or zero clients, or even via a simple web browser. Equally compelling is the fact that you don't need a VPN connection to access your corporate data and apps, which makes the solution even easier to scale rapidly. Finally, EUC services play nicely with existing tooling customers may have already deployed in their environments today, such as System Center, Group Policy, on-prem or cloud-based Active Directory, which means you can continue to leverage the investments you've already made and get up and running quickly. Now let's talk about agent productivity, which comes up as a recurring theme in our customer conversations. Given the already distributed nature of global workforces that are now even more dispersed across geographies and time zones, and working from home, the office, or somewhere else, this is top of mind for customers to make sure their agents are gainfully empowered, meaningfully engaged, and continue to get more productive. We talked about the advantages of BYOD from a customer standpoint, but let's not forget that employees and agents also prefer the flexibility of being able to get their job done from favorite devices of choice without being tethered necessarily to a corporate issued laptop or even their corporate network. In fact, we've already seen several customers such as Maximus, whom you heard from, as well as other customers such as Grubhub and Feral Gas, double down on BYOD for not just added business agility, but also employee satisfaction. As many of us are working from our homes right now, the ability to connect from any network becomes especially important, as the networks themselves can be unpredictable in terms of loss, latency, jitter, and other variables that can impact productivity. In fact, this was a concern we have heard from our customers over the years. And so in typical Amazon fashion, we worked backwards from our customer needs and invented a brand new cloud-native streaming protocol called WSP on behalf of customers, which is now generally available for customers to deploy today. With WSP, customers can confidently empower their users with a predictable, consistent, productive virtual desktop experience across global distances and unreliable networks. Of course, as AWS, we offer the broadest selection of instance types to accommodate just about every user workload, including for graphic instances that are needed for GPU-intensive three-dimensional CAD and CAM applications. And we already have customers such as SolidWorks, Siemens, and IronCAD that are adopting graphics instance-based EUC services. Another important aspect of EUC services is the ability for end users to self-serve themselves, which is pushing the boundary of what it means to be productive in new and exciting ways. For instance, based on your project's needs and if your IT policy permits, your end users can dynamically upgrade their virtual desktops with additional compute, memory, or even disk resources with just a few clicks on their own with zero IT intervention. This level of flexibility is practically not feasible with corporate-issued laptops or even with traditional BYOD, and can boost end-user productivity in novel ways without increasing the operational burden on IT. We recognize how real-time multimodal collaboration has become important in today's world, and we have continued to innovate with our services so that you can be productive and engaged using AV conferencing software of your choice with your users. In fact, our services are designed to make your users forget that they're actually accessing their desktops and apps virtually in the cloud, and features such as multi-display support, support for a wide range of peripherals such as headsets, cameras, printing support, make EUC services seamless, intuitive, and extremely easy for your agents and other end users to adopt. Next, let's talk about how EUC services make it easy for you to elevate your organization's security posture while staying compliant, which are key considerations for just about every single customer we talk to. The first thing to note is that there's no data that physically resides on the end user's device, and instead, data and applications are securely delivered as a pixel stream to end users, irrespective of what device or browser they're using, which makes EUC solutions inherently more secure. Data is encrypted in transit and at rest in the AWS cloud, which further minimizes the risk of the data getting compromised. On top of all of this, we give customers additional controls so that they can easily implement data protection policies that best align with their security and corporate objectives, such as the ability to restrict copying and pasting of information across the endpoint cloud boundary to further safeguard IP and minimize data leakage. We also support a number of turnkey features such as certificate-based trust, smart card authentication, multi-factor authentication, IP-based conditional access, AWS private link support, among many, many other security-focused features that further work together to raise the bar on security in your end-user computing environment. Another challenge that we hear from customers is around compliance. And both WorkSpaces and AppStream support a number of different out-of-the-box compliance certifications. For instance, our services are HIPAA compliant with an eligible business associates agreement and can utilize applications and files that contain and work with protected health information. We are also PCI DSS Level 1 compliant and conform to payment card industry standards for dealing with sensitive cardholder data. GDPR is another one that comes up very often, especially from our customers in the EU. In fact, security and compliance were the top drivers of adoption for our customer Hankook Corporation that focuses on providing CRM solutions, contact center consignment, and consulting services to enterprise customers. AWS's leadership in being the first global cloud service provider to achieve Korea Information Security Management System, or KIS-MS certification, helped Hankook meet their security and compliance requirements and obligations more effectively and easily, while the security model and features of EUC services gave Hankook the confidence that their user data would not be stored on consultants' laptops. Finally, let's focus on cost optimization, which is another topic that frequently comes up in our customer conversations. While the price of the solution is important, what customers really want is the ability to streamline and optimize their IT costs all up without compromising the bar on service delivery. With traditional on-prem VDI environments, customers tell us that they find themselves between a rock and a hard place of either over-provisioning instances for peak and thus having underutilized or highly cost-inefficient resources, or risking their SLA and potentially compromising service delivery whenever they try to right-size their fleets that simply can't scale fast enough in the event of a demand surge. Consequently, the ability to pay for what customers need is super critical to customers from a cost optimization perspective. Customers are also demanding licensing simplicity, flexibility, and transparency, as legacy licensing terms that require annual commitments, artificial minimums, can really drive up their costs in the long run. One of the biggest benefits of AWS EUC solutions is that our pricing is transparent, and customers truly pay only for what they need with convenient monthly or even hourly billing options. There are no artificial minimums or commitments, and since the virtual apps and desktops can be accessed from just about any device, we've seen customers deploy BYOD or even repurpose older hardware or thin clients to defer or even eliminate costly capital expenditure, not to mention getting rid of the complexity and costs of device procurement, provisioning, and distribution. Because EUC services are managed services, we provide built-in functionality that allows you to easily save money without writing code or scripts, for instance, by automatically hibernating fleets based on policies you set to avoid charges when the instances are not in use. We also offer turnkey cost optimizers that can dynamically adjust the billing modes based on actual usage to optimize your costs on your behalf. It is through a combination of these features and capabilities that customers such as Origlio Beverage, who is a wholesale beverage distributor based out of the USA, Kyowa Kirin, a pharmaceutical life sciences customer based out of Japan, and Endemol Shine, creator, producer, and distributor of multi-platform entertainment in the Netherlands, have all been able to reduce their operational costs by as much as 30%. We have customers across continents and industries saving money with EUC services today. In fact, we have our very own internal Amazon IT team that supports over 25,000 workers around the world using Amazon WorkSpaces and realizes at least $17 million in annual savings by circumventing the need for physical logistics, such as shipping hardware or even building out networking infrastructure. For these reasons, we are seeing broad adoption of EUC services by contact center customers across industries, verticals, and company sizes, as reflected in the diversity of the customer names you see on this slide, as well as having heard from customers such as Maximus and Johnson & Johnson already. We have customers such as Hankook that are trusting EUC services with their security and compliance needs. We have accounts receivable and back office solution providers such as MRS BPO, who are deploying remote and contingent workforces around the globe. Financial service providers such as Enova International are supporting the backbone of the global economy by evaluating, underwriting, and funding small business loans by relying on EUC solutions to keep their workforce up and running during the pandemic. And then you have companies such as Grubhub, who are using WorkSpaces to embrace new remote work models, accelerate BYOD, and position themselves for success in an uncertain world through digital transformation. In summary, we have seen that there's a strong alignment and fit between the core benefits of AWS EUC services and the most urgent and important business needs of contact center customers. EUC services are powered by the AWS cloud and are built from the ground up for maximum uptime, resiliency, and availability that contact center customers need to reliably serve their end customers. EUC services are fully managed, which makes them easy to scale with tremendous elasticity, easy to integrate with existing workflows and tooling, and eliminates the need for managing complex infrastructure, all of which allows contact center customers to stay nimble and responsive to the evolving needs of their customers and accelerate time to value. We have seen how contact center customers trust the security model of EUC services that allows them to safeguard valuable corporate IP and data and gives them the tools and controls to customize their security posture and meet key compliance requirements. EUC services can also help contact center customers optimize costs by allowing them to only pay for what they need, making licensing super simple and transparent with no artificial commitments or minimums, and providing out-of-the-box functionality and cost optimization tools that can help customers start saving even more money from day one. At the center of all of these benefits, of course, are productive agents who are able to bring the productive best to serve the needs of your customers intelligently, confidently, and securely with the right data, insights, and applications. Before we wrap up, I want to emphasize that we have a portfolio of services and features that are tailored and purpose-built to your specific needs and use cases. These are differentiated at a high level by your need for persistence and statefulness. With Amazon Workspaces, we're really talking about persistent named user desktops where there's a one-to-one mapping between a user and their cloud desktop. From a mental model perspective, Workspaces can be managed just like a desktop or laptop in that users get the same exact instance every time they log in, and their data, profiles, and other customizations and settings are automatically persisted across login sessions. In other words, Workspaces instances are inherently stateful. With AppStream, we're really talking about non-persistent instances that can be deployed in either desktop or application view. Regardless of which view you choose, with AppStream, the user gets a new instance created from the base image every time they log in, and most user settings are not persisted across login sessions by default. From a mental model perspective, these are managed like a kiosk and are deployed for the expectation of multiple users. And for these reasons, AppStream instances are essentially stateless. As such, the Workspaces and AppStream services are complementary in nature and in totality can help customers address the full spectrum of their persistent and non-persistent desktop and application virtualization needs. This then brings us nearly to the end of the speaking portion of our online tech talk. Before we jump to Q&A, I'd like to do a quick recap. In today's talk, we saw how contact center customers are choosing Amazon Workspaces and Amazon AppStream to accelerate their digital transformation, and we covered 4 key learning objectives. First, we looked at key business challenges faced by contact center customers. Second, we introduced Amazon Workspaces and Amazon AppStream services and saw how they can benefit customers. Third, we took a deeper look at these services and understood how these services are helping address some of the most pressing and emergent needs of contact center customers. We also heard from and saw several real-world examples of contact center customers who have successfully deployed AWS EUC services to modernize their contact center operations and accelerate their digital transformation. As next steps, I would highly encourage you to check out the resources below in case you're interested in learning more about AWS EUC services. Alternatively, if you're interested in doing a deeper dive or are ready to get started with a proof of concept, please reach out to your account manager or contact AWS, and we would be more than happy to work with you to identify the appropriate next steps. With that, we have officially concluded the speaker portion of the presentation, and I would like to personally thank each and every one of you for taking the time to join this online talk and learn more about AWS end-user computing. At this time, I would like to open this up for general questions, and I look forward to hearing from you.